Today, I'm going to be ranking some of the most overpowered Plants vs Zombies plants that there is. And there's a lot of plants in the PvZ1 game. And this is going to be a hard choice, but some of these are just insanely strong and make the game way too easy and just end up being quite annoying for them being stupidly overpowered for the levels that you get to play through. Let's put these plants into a ranking system and let's see if you also think these plants are as strong as I know they are. And trust me, they're going to get progressively more stronger the deeper we get into this video. Let's begin with the first plant you get in the night levels. Puff Shroom. I know. Why is this free plant that is normally just a burner plant, even on this list? Puff Shrooms are a free plant that shoots spores at nearby zombies, and they are particularly effective in the early game for stalling zombie waves. Their strengths are obviously being cost-free. Being free allows players to establish defenses quickly with them without taking up any valuable sun. They are quick recharge, they're fast to replant, you can slow down zombies or you can bundle them up and deal more damage. They have great trigger mechanisms. They can trigger a pole vault in zombies before you want them to go over your wall, not to say. They have some great uses, but they have some weaknesses being short range and they're kind of limited for things you can do with them. And they can be quickly overshadowed by plants coming up. Okay, Puff Shroom. This is a single-use plant, free. It's good for just buffering zombies. That's the only reason we have it on the list. It's great for buffering zombies or just for doing a bit of damage if you don't want to spend sun instantly at the start of a level. You want to build up your sun after a while. I'm going to put this in... Yeah, no, I'm playing. C tier fits this perfectly. It's not the craziest on this list. And we're going to get a lot better than this. But for sure, it has to be mentioned that it's a useful plant, especially for even daylight levels. You can just use it to quickly get rid of and slow down a zombie if you don't have any ice zombies or ice plants to slow down. For the smash that Puff Shroom was on that ranking, let's get a plant that's going to squash our rankings. The squash, which we first encountered on the pool levels 3-1. All that you need to know about squash is it's a single-use plant that instantly crushes any nearby zombie except for the major mini bosses, to say like the Gargantua, where it would normally take about 2 squashes to kill them fully. The strengths for the squash is actually extraordinarily good, and they can take out any zombie like bucket heads and pogo zombies instantly, and for the cost of 50 sun, this is perfect. I know for some of the slower players out there, the quick reaction time that you need for these guys are really low. If you forgot about a lane, or if you're like, oh, there's a zombie that just passed my defenses, you have a perfect plan to instantly get rid of them and you can move on. But to be fair, there are some weaknesses that come with this plant, especially the single use capabilities of this plant. You can only use it once and it does take a good amount of time for it to recharge. And later in the game, it can kind of become limited, especially at waves where you can only place one of them and you'll be waiting a good bit later for this to be used. Okay, we have this squash. This is one of the stronger ones. Instant kill zombie plant. It's really nice, I think the newest design, PvZ3 design, this is actually the best one that they have. But this is for sure being an instant kill plant. You can't have it any lower, right? It's a brilliant plant. The only downside of this that you could say it's a B tier is the refuel time. That's the only negative thing I can think about it on the spot right now. It's a really great plant, amazing. Just before we get back to the video, if you're enjoying this far, please press subscribe. We're nearly on 4,600 subscribers and I'd really appreciate it a lot. And let me know in the comments if you have, and if you haven't, press it now. Okay, we can go back now. The next plant we have is like a diamond in the sky. Also in the PvZ universe known as the Starfruit. We first see this plant come to life in 5-7. So the unique thing about the Starfruit in PvZ1 is that it attacks in 5 different directions. Backwards, top left, top right. Basically where all the points of the starfish is pointing, it shoots out of. There's some strengths to it, obviously being the multi-lane coverage. I can hit multiple lanes, multiple zombies behind it, in front of it. Brilliant. The low cost, it's a mid-game plant. 5-7, it's kind of getting into the later game of the thing, so it's not too bad, but it does have some weaknesses that do kind of draw it back. The unpredictable shots do kind of neglect some of its power, but I can see things around it. If you have a zombie that's eating your way through the pots and behind the sunflowers, you want to just try to get rid of him. Maybe if he's low, if not, you just leave the lawnmower do the rest. But for sure is one of his weaknesses. Okay, we have the Starfruit. It's looking, I was gonna say adorable. It's looking kind of goofy with that 1 tooth sticking out. Oh, this is gonna be a tough ranking. You know, it's for sure better than this. Come on now, let's be for real. But I don't think it's as good as a squash. Maybe if you have, see, the thing about this one is it does kind of need multiple reinforcements to make it really effective. That's the only thing drawing it back from being a top contender for, especially in this list, filled with powerful powerful plants. It's only progressively going to get harder after this. There's going to be a lot of tougher plants after this, and I feel compared to the other plants, there's no way it's an A contender at all. So we're for sure going to have to put this into the B for now, because some of these next plants, they're going to get. We have a plant that you just wouldn't see in the sky at all. You wouldn't even see it at the daytime at all. And it's going to be the Gloom Shroom. Finally moving on to an upgraded plant that you can buy from the store. And it can be quite useful, especially in Night Endless or basically any night level. Not really useful unless you get the coffee bean to wake it up in the daytime. The Gloom Shroom is an upgrade of the Foom Shroom, but the Gloom Shroom delivers powerful area damage, which is really useful, especially in hordes of zombies where it does area attack damage 3x3. And where we get to see the Gloom Shroom actually shine from the previous mentioned plants, which are nothing compared to this, is from its strengths. The high damage output that it deals to a large group of zombies due to its area of attack damage and area of effect that it does to the zombies, especially in hordes, is so useful that it already outnumbers half of the plants previously mentioned. This is one of the big hitters for sure. And another strength that it has is versatility. You can use this in endless moves, survival modes. You can use this with the garlic to become really effective. You can pile them all into large groups to kill them all with one. You can pile these plants up to deal double the amount. It is really useful. So we have the Foom Shroom's big brother, the Gloom Shroom, and there's some weaknesses to this plant for sure that kind of draw back in this especially vigorous ranking system, where it's high cost using and requiring Foom Shroom, and then you're gonna have to buy the Gloom Shroom to put on top of it, is kind of making it an expensive resource unless you're a very plentiful sun level, especially if you have a lot of sunflowers or the other methods of getting sun. But it's also really limited by its range. It's really short ranged, but does a lot of damage, which kind of counter that. But we're for sure gonna have to put this in an A ranking. I don't think it's as useful as a squash, in my opinion, but I could certainly see you putting this above the squash in effectiveness. Next plant we have is Cattail. This is a plant that you can also buy from the store, and is an upgraded plant. It's an upgrade of the lily pad, and the Cattail can attack zombies across the entire pool and pop balloon zombies. Not only can it do this, it can attack any zombie anywhere. Yeah, it's a pretty nice plant to have in your arsenal. As some of the strengths for this, it has its homing attacks. It will track down the zombies and hit them automatically. You don't have to do much. It'll shoot. If it's in a different lane, it's going to attack it for you. Very nice. And the versatile defense it has against airborne zombies become really useful, especially against balloon zombies, which can be quite tedious to either have the blower or the cactus in your arsenal. You can just have this plant, the Cattail, that can attack every kind of zombie, and it's just nice to have. So having the Cattail right here ready for ranking, we do see some weaknesses in the game about the Cattail. It does have a really high cost and setup requirement for it. Okay, the setup requirement is actually not that bad, I just need a lily pad. But the cost of 225 sun for the Cattail is really expensive, especially for what it does. But it can only be utilized in the water levels. That's another thing holding it back. But nevertheless, I'm going to rank it on my personal opinion. And I honestly think it deserves this spot. It's above these two for sure. Hits everywhere, but I can for sure see why you'd drop it or you'd rearrange it differently. But I do think it's an S tier plant for sure. One of the strongest in the game, but not the strongest, because some of the upcoming ones, are they strong. The next plant we have hails from the sky and is actually one of the most unique in probably the franchise, honestly. We have the Cob Cannon. Yeah, another upgraded plant, I know, but this has to be mentioned as some of the strongest and most OP plants in the whole game. The Cob Cannon is an upgrade of the kernel pult, and it launches explosive kernels into the sky that come down and kill zombies, but you do need 2 kernel pults to upgrade into this Cob Cannon. There is 2 really big strengths about this one: the massive amount of potential damage you can do, and it destroys large groups of zombies with 1 shot. This is really useful in survival and endless levels in the game, and it's normally the one that you'd see all those like clickbait titles and all those ones on YouTube. You normally see them with these ones because it's just that strong. And the strategic placement about it is actually really nice. It's a really unique feature, and it can be positioned efficiently to cover multiple lanes and doesn't have any choke points in especially like the rooftop levels. Okay, so now we have the Cob Cannon, which we do have yet again some weaknesses that we need to talk about before ranking this. The high cost and the setup time is quite annoying. You need 2 kernel pults which is already like 200 sun right there, and then you need to pay an additional sun just for the Cob Cannon to be useful. And then the second disadvantage of this is the amount of waiting time that you need before the Cob can be shot again. Nevertheless, it should be deleted. It's just a terrible, okay, good. It's for sure one of the strongest plants in this game, for sure. Outranks the Cattail, Gloom Shroom, Squash. This is not even we'll drop you for now, because in comparison, this should not be a 3 ranking gap between the Cob Cannon and this guy. Like, no. Ooh, freezing its way onto the list, we have the Winter Melon, another upgrade of another plant, the Melon Pult. It is a winter and a cold variant of the Melon Pult, and it deals great amount of splash damage while slowing down the zombies in its really arranged attacks, and is really useful in every kind of level: pool, roof, day, night, everything. It's really useful. But some of the strengths are its strengths. It does a lot of things very well. The area of damage it does and the control it does provides both damage output and crowd control, which is really useful in hordes and just late game levels. And the late game powerhouse this gives you access to. Crazy Dave cooked up a nice variant right here. The Winter Melon. I don't think there's a single weakness to the game. Maybe just the price point. That's the only weakness I could say. The sun cost for this plant is quite hefty. But once you have this guy down, you will never be worrying about any zombie anymore. Doesn't matter who it is. Does a great amount of damage, great amount of everything, slows that down too. I'm gonna put this number 1. It's for sure the best plant in the game. Oh, we thought we were done? No, we got a couple more upgradable plants that need to be on this list. We like the Spike Rock, Twin Sunflower, Gatling Pea Shooter, and the Gold Magnet. I mean, he does with bucket heads. I mean, that's all right. But I think that's good for it. Yeah, there's nothing really to say about him. You know, let me not disrespect the perfume. Yeah, he for the price you pay for him, it's just not worth it. Honestly, you should just keep the regular magnet. It's not worth it. The Spike Rock. Ooh, I like this one. I'm gonna put this in B. Yeah, I don't think it's good enough to be an A level just yet, but can be really useful in certain scenarios. The Twin Sunflower. You get double the amount of sun, but for like double the amount. I mean, it can be really useful if you want to double up your back row of sunflowers to get more plants. Obviously, you get these quicker. So we're gonna put this. It's just A, lower end of A, top of B. Yeah, I think that's just about right. And the Gatling Pea Shooter shoots 4, but is decently expensive. When doubled up and with a Torchwood, for sure an A. Upper A too. Can I see he's better than the Gloom Shroom? I can't say he's better than the Gloom Shroom. So yeah, that's my rankings. If you have any issues with it, let me know in the comments why. And if you're not subscribed yet, press subscribe.